live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A very good evening and welcome to the national news telecast of the most prestigious channel of Sri Lanka. Coming to you live from the Rupavahini News Studios, I'm Vibhuda Vijay Bandara.
And I'm Kenza Farooq. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Virai Kali Baltasar of National's People's Power is the new mayor in Colombo. Samagi Jana Balavege suspends the party membership of their 6 councillors in the Dambulla Pradeshia Sabha. The president stresses that a stable and self-reliant economy will be created in the country to achieve capability of meeting external debt obligations. Israel states that it has secured the control in Iran airstrip. 4 Sri Lankans had minor injuries by an Iranian attack. Sending Sri Lankan workers to Israel temporarily suspended. Ministry of Public Security says assets of 88 individuals linked to organized crimes and financial frauds frozen. The IMF commends the progress gained by Sri Lanka during the past 2 years. It continues support to the government's program.
In your top local news, Roy Kelly Baltazar was elected today as mayor in the Colombo Municipal Council, representing the National People's Power.
And under the secret voting held today for this purpose, Virai Kali Baltasar received 61 votes, while her opponent candidate of the Samagi Jana Balavege, Rizak Zaruk, only received 54 votes. The first meeting of the Colombo Municipal Council commenced today at 9:30 a.m. According to the results of the recent local government election, all 117 elected councillors for the Colombo Municipal Council were present at the voting. After the poll, the NPP won 48 members. SJB received only 29 members. The UNP won 13 members, while the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna won 5. The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress has secured 4 councillor slots and Sarva Jana Balaya Party has 2 posts. The rest of the councillor posts were received by other political parties and independent groups. According to results of the local government polls, no party received a majority of councillors exceeding 50%. Therefore, at the first meeting of the CMC held today, a decision was taken to elect the heads of the council through a voting. There, the National People's Power proposed Virai Kali Baltasar as their mayor candidate, while SJB proposed Riza Zaruk. Then there was a heating argument in the council whether an open voting or a secret voting is to be held for this purpose.
සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ ප්‍රමුඛ පොදු විපක්ෂ වෙනුවෙන් නගරාධිපතිවරයා තේරීම සඳහා අපි විවෘත
SGB and the UMP stressed that an open vote should be held.
අපි රහස් ඡන්දයක් පැවැත්විය යුතුයි යෝජනා කරනවා.
අධ්‍යාත්මික පක්ෂය අපි රහස් ඡන්දයක් කොහෙත්ම අපේක්ෂා කරන්නේ මොකද රහස් ඡන්දයක් අපිට අවශ්‍ය නැහැ.
ඔබතුමී ආන්ද කාගේ හරි മന്ത്രിවරුන්ගේ රාජ්‍ය භාවයේ සුරකින්න ඕනද කියලා. අංගල ගන්න ඕනේ අපිට. අපි එළිපිට කියනවා. බය නැති මිනිස්සු ඕන ඡන්දයකට ඔට්ටු වෙන්න එපයි.
However, ultimately both parties agreed to hold a secret ballot.
සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ ප්‍රමුඛ එක්සත්ජාතික පක්ෂය නගරාධිපතිවරයා තේරීමට රහස් ඡන්දයක් අපි යෝජනා කරනවා.
නගරාධිපති ධූරය සඳහා රහස් ඡන්දයකට යන්න අපි ඒක ඉස්තිර කරනවා.
හරි ඒ වෙන යෝජනා නැහැනේ අපි ඒක අනුව කරමු එහෙනම්.
Accordingly, the local government commissioner of the Western Province, Sarangika Jasundara, called up a secret voting. After the secret voting, it was decided that 2 votes out of the 117 votes were rejected. Accordingly, from the 115 valid votes, Virai Kali Baltasar won a majority of 7 votes, receiving 61 votes. Then her name was declared as the new mayor of the Colombo Municipal Council. After the inaugural session, ruling and opposing party councillors expressed their views to the media. The new mayor of the Colombo Municipal Council, Virai Kali Baltasar, said that they will have the greatest challenge in the coming period after securing the power in the municipal council. The NPP will create an environment for every citizen in Colombo to live in dignity. The ruling party will create a beautiful city with the help of everybody.
The National People Power has been able to establish administrations in several local government institutions, including the Colombo Municipal Council. The election of a mayor to the Ratnapura Municipal Council through a secret ballot was held at the Ratnapura Municipal Council Auditorium. KADRI Katugampala of National People's Power received 14 votes and was elected the mayor of the Ratnapura Municipal Council. Don Saranga Vithanage, who contested from the opposition, was able to secure only 12 votes. An open vote was held to elect the deputy mayor, and Don Saranga Vithanage of Samagi Janapalavege was elected for the post. W.M. Tilakaratne of National People's Power was selected as the chairman of the Dambula Pradeshya Sabha, securing 15 votes. The voting was conducted under the leadership of Provincial Commissioner of the Central Province, KPK Adapattu. Pradeep Vasantakumara was elected the vice chairman. Samagi Janapalavege, in a communique issued, has decided to suspend the party membership of 6 councillors with immediate effect, since they did not take steps to appoint the chairman and the vice chairman of the Dambula Pradeshya Sabha in accordance with the decision of the party management committee of the SJB and the working committee of it. Indika Karunaratne of National People's Power was elected as the chairman of Galewala Pradeshya Sabha. The voting was conducted under the leadership of Provincial Commissioner of the Central Province, KPK Adapattu. The vice chairman of the Provincial Council has been S.M. Makim, who was an independent candidate contesting under the apple symbol. Abdul Sattar Muhammad Rikas has been elected as the chairman of the Kalpitiya Pradeshya Sabha, securing 16 votes, who contested from National People's Power in the local government election of this year. The voting was conducted under the leadership of the Northwestern Provincial Council Commissioner. The mayor of Vavuniya Municipal Council is Sundaralingam Kandeepan of Democratic Tamil National Alliance. Parameshwan Kandeepan has been elected as the vice chairman.
Now, President Anukumar Dissanayake, delivering the keynote address at the international conference Sri Lanka's Road to Recovery, Debt and Governance in Colombo today, declared that by 2028, Sri Lanka will have laid the foundation for a stable and self-reliant economy, one capable of independently meeting its external debt obligations. The conference, a landmark event jointly hosted by the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the International Monetary Fund, drew global attention as it examined the country's recovery from economic crisis, the progress of debt restructuring and future challenges under the IMF's Extended Fund Facility Program. President Anukumar Dissanayake said that at present the country has achieved a level of economic stability. The country has reached a stage where debt restructuring is nearing completion and for a notable period has been able to maintain stability in the value of the dollar. Furthermore, the country has been able to generate expected state revenue and build up foreign reserves. These indicators reflect strong macroeconomic stability. Nevertheless, the deep wounds of the crisis have not yet healed, and understand that the crisis is not yet resolved in its entirety. Therefore, while surface level stability has been established, it is imperative to further solidify this stability and elevate the economy to a higher level. This requires the implementation of new reforms and transformations within the economic system. Attention has to be drawn to a few critical factors in this regard. To ensure economic stability and recovery, the country needs a strong public service. However, the expenditure currently incurred to maintain the public service is excessive and unsustainable. Our goal must be to provide an efficient public service at minimal cost to the citizens. The government has already decided that certain state institutions should be closed. These institutions were established in response to socio-economic needs of a bygone era, which are no longer relevant. Some institutions are now obsolete and therefore must be restructured or dissolved. Additionally, multiple institutions performing overlapping functions. These must be consolidated. Some state institutions also require redefinition of their objectives and goals. Hence, the government is committed to implementing a robust transformation of the state apparatus. For this to be successful, inefficiency and, more importantly, corruption and bribery must be eradicated from the public sector. Recent news reports highlight the depth of the current crisis. The Inspector General of Police is in hiding. The Commissioner General of Prisons has been imprisoned. Officers from the Department of Motor Traffic and the Department of Immigration have been arrested. This raises serious concerns about the state of our institutions. Inefficiency, bribery and corruption significantly contributed to this crisis. Corruption is not merely about immediate transactions. It resulted in vital projects being neglected and unnecessary ones being implemented, which continue to burden us today. Thus, to overcome this crisis, enhancing institutional efficiency and decisively combating corruption are essential. We are committed as a government to this cause. The state should retain a certain degree of involvement in sectors that are sensitive to the economy. Sri Lanka's energy and financial markets are relatively small, which poses the risk of monopolies forming. To counter this, the state must maintain a presence in key sectors. However, such state institutions must not become burdens on the public.
What is the lesson for Sri Lanka of the debt restructuring? I think the lesson is that it should never have to go through this again. I think that this is the lesson to be taken away, which is that Sri Lanka should never find itself in a similar situation where it needs to go through restructuring. I want to recognize that the achievements that have taken place over the last 2 years would not have been possible without the courage and sacrifice of the people of Sri Lanka. We all recognize this. The crisis was costly, it was painful, especially for the most vulnerable in society. And the reforms that were undertaken to address the root causes of the crisis. As the President said, it is a deep wound. It's not going to be healed overnight to a crisis again in the future. Now, these are difficult measures. They test social fabric, but at the same time, they are the foundations for a more resilient future. This is why it's now important to look ahead. We have stability, but we need to now focus on inclusive growth and resilience, especially given the global environment. There is a lot that is still needed. The poverty rate is at 24.5% in 2024, according to the World Bank. That is too high, and it needs to be brought down as quickly as possible. This will require continued commitment to macro stability, but also successful implementation of structural reforms. Tackling corruption will be critical here, and here the governments. Sri Lanka has delivered. We're at this midpoint where we are in a good place. The reforms look strong, progress looks strong, but we also have to remind ourselves of the risks. So the IMF has had, with Sri Lanka, we've had 16 previous programs. About half of them have ended prematurely. And the reason that has happened is because reform fatigue sets in, the hard-won gains get reversed, and so I think we can all agree that the country cannot afford to repeat this cycle. It is critically important to sustain the reform momentum and to do so in a manner that's inclusive and accountable. The IMF will remain a steadfast partner of Sri Lanka, and we very much look forward to working together to improve the lives of all the citizens now and future generations.
A large explosion has rocked the building of Iran's state television IRIB following a threat by Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz. More Israeli airstrikes are reported in Tehran as the Israeli military warns people in parts of the Iranian capital to evacuate. Iran accuses Israel of hitting a hospital in the west of the country, and Iran's health ministry says at least 224 people have been killed by Israeli strikes since Friday. Earlier, Israel said it had full aerial operational control over Tehran 4 days after launching strikes on the country. The IDF says people in parts of Tehran's District 3 should leave as it targets military infrastructure in the area. Iranian state TV and radio are about to disappear, Israel's defense minister Israel Katz said, as Iranian officials continue to urge the public not to panic in the wake of Israeli attacks. Videos posted on social media in recent days show queues for fuel. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has issued a statement warning residents of Tel Aviv to evacuate as soon as possible for their safety and security, Iranian state media report. The warning was issued shortly after Israel released an evacuation threat for Tehran's District 3. Meanwhile, the head of the UN nuclear watchdog says there's a possibility of both radiological and chemical contamination within Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility in Natanz after Israeli airstrikes and gridlocked traffic as people try to leave the capital, Tehran.
Now, in the aftermath of the Israel-Iran war, Sri Lankan ambassador in Israel Nimal Bandara says that 4 Sri Lankans have been injured by Iran-Israel conflict at present. Joining a special interview with the national television this evening, the ambassador said that no Sri Lankan worker has made a request to leave Israel so far. Joining the national television news team through Zoom technology, Ambassador Nimal Bandara explained that the program has been implemented for the well-being of the Sri Lankan community in Israel.
According to my knowledge, only 4 people is a minor injured. I met the 3 people yesterday, and this morning we got the report regarding the 1 person injured, young person who came for the construction industry from Sri Lanka. He's from the Apurasa area. And we sent a delegation from our team to check his condition, and we got he's stable, he's okay. But we have to arrange 2 or 3 days the rest time for him. We are trying to communicate with the relevant agency regarding his leave, and I think after 1 week he will recover. Regarding this situation, will recover soon.
That was the Sri Lankan ambassador in Israel, Nimal Bandara. Subsequently, at a press briefing held today, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Employment Arun Hemachandra said that the government is acting with special care regarding the Sri Lankans in the trouble zone connecting the embassies in the region. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Employment Arun Hemachandra said that it has to be specially mentioned that migration to Israel on foreign employment has been temporarily suspended. He added that a decision will be arrived at with the prevailing situation in that country, and we would like to inform people, especially in Israel and Iran, to be in direct contact with the Sri Lankan embassies in those countries, since the relevant phone numbers have already been provided.
Police Illegal Assets Investigation Divisions has frozen the assets of 88 individuals linked to organized crime and financial fraud. The Ministry of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs informed this fact today. Accordingly, the entire value of the frozen assets is nearly 4.063 billion rupees. The ministry further says that the property of many persons who are related to leading organized crimes in the island has been frozen by the Illegal Assets Investigation Division.
Now, over 40 new official police quarters were vested with the police officers whose official quarters were demolished in the construction of the Kompanya Vidya flyover today. It was held under the patronage of Minister of Transport, Highways, Ports and Civil Aviation, Bimal Ratnayaka. The new official police quarters are located at the Cyril C. Pereira Avenue in Colombo 13, close to the Sugatadasa Stadium. The relevant officials have been provided with houses from the Harbour View Residencies housing complex, comprised with 400 housing units. Chairman of the Road Development Authority, T. Paskaran, handed over the keys of the new housing units to the Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security, retired DIG Ravi Senviratna. Acting IGP Priyantha Veerasurya and a crowd including officials of the Road Development Authority and Urban Development Authority were present at this occasion.
අනුරාධපුරයට කරන්නේ මේ අවුරුද්ද අවසන් වෙන කලින් මුළු ලංකාවෙම ඒ විදිහට ෆයින් සිස්ටම් එක දඩ ගෙවන එක ඔන්ලයින් කරන්න අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා. මේකෙදි මම හිතන්නේ පොලිසියට අවශ්‍ය ස්මාර්ට් ෆෝන්ස් ජනාධිපතිතුමා එක්ක කතා කරලා තිබෙනවා ඒවා ලබා දෙන්න. කොළඹ නගරය ගත්තොත් ආසියාවේ තියෙන පරණම නගරය. ඒ ප්‍රදේශ සියල්ලම හැමදාම කඩනවා හදනවා වෙනුවට වතුර ඒ වගේ දේවල් වෙනම සර්විස් ලේන් එක මේජර් මෙට්‍රොපොලිටන් ඒරියා එකේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා පාරවල් ජාත්‍යන්තර ප්‍රමිතියට ලබන වසරේ සිට හදන්න.
Meanwhile, 87 amateur railway security officers who were recruited for the Railway Security Service passed out after receiving police training today. The ceremony was held at the Alvihara grounds in Police Training College, Kalutara. It is significant that such an event was held in the lapse of 17 years. Deputy Minister Dr. Prasanna Gunasen and several others were present at this event. New reforms and security program is scheduled to be held centering the central bus stand Peta. Minister Bimal Ratnayaka today engaged in an inspection visit there. Later discussion was held with the participation of Defence Secretary Sampath Tuyakonta, Air Force Commander Air Vice Marshal Vasu Bandhu Edrisinghe and ministry officials. The Colombo Central Bus Stand operates about 2,000 bus journeys a day. The reforms and security program is to be completed within 1 year. The Meteorology Department says that the intermittent rains may occur today also in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, southern and northwestern provinces.
Fairly strong rains of about 50 millimeters are also expected at certain places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces, along with the Nuwara, Kandy, Galle and Mathura districts. As per the weather communique of the Meteorology Department, slight rainy weather might experience in the northern province and Anuradhapura district. It further says that strong intermittent winds of about 50 km per hour might also occur in the western slopes of central hills, northern, north-central, western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. The wind speed in the sea area of Puttalam to Mannar and Kankasanture via Mullaitivu may vary time and again up to 70 km per hour. The Meteorology Department informs the fishing and naval community not to venture into the seas of those areas since the sea might stay rough until further notice is issued. There is a possibility of the sea waves of the shores of Mannar to Puttalam, Colombo to Mathura via Galle rising up to 2.5 meters. Due to heavy rains, 4 sluice gates of Mahabali Reservoir Polgolla were opened 2.5 feet each. A volume of 9,700 cubic feet of water per second is being released from it to the Victoria Reservoir. 2 fishermen faced an accident when the fishing boat named Mutusha Putha ventured into the sea from the Panadura Fisheries Harbour. According to the National Building Research Organisation, the landslide risk communique is issued for several divisional secretariat divisions with the continuation of inclement weather with stay further. More local news coming up after the short break.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome back. Moving on to more local news. President Anura Kumar Dissanayake met with the Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Dr. Geeta Gopinath, this morning at the Presidential Secretariat.
Now, during the meeting, President Dissanayake expressed his sincere appreciation to the IMF for its continued support in guiding Sri Lanka throughout its recent financial crisis. He also raised concerns regarding the recently imposed US tariffs, noting their potential impact, as approximately 25% of Sri Lanka's total exports are directed to the United States. The president further highlighted the challenges posed by ongoing global conflicts and their potential implications for Sri Lanka. However, he mentioned to the delegation that appropriate measures are being taken to manage and mitigate these risks effectively. The discussion also focused on Sri Lanka's trade relationship with the European Union, particularly the GSP Plus trade concession, which accounts for 23% of the country's exports and provides preferential access to the EU market. The president emphasized the current government's interest in expanding investment opportunities, stating that economic recovery would be driven through increased investor confidence. He reiterated that the current administration is people-oriented and committed to advancing in close alignment with public aspirations. Dr. Geeta Gopinath thanked the president for the warm welcome and acknowledged the strong mandate he received in both the general and local elections, which she noted enhances the government's ability to implement much-needed reforms. Reflecting on the country's economic journey, she commended the remarkable progress achieved over the past 2 years from a state of severe crisis to renewed growth and falling inflation. She also praised the strides made in governance reforms and emphasized the importance of sustaining and deepening these efforts. The IMF delegation reaffirmed its recognition of Sri Lanka's substantial progress and pledged to remain a steadfast partner in the country's reform and recovery process.
In a vehicle accident occurred last night at Gonapala area, Horana, 2 sisters of the same family died and 2 others were injured. 4 females crossing over at a pedestrian crossing were knocked down by a luxury vehicle driven by a driver under the influence of intoxicants. The victims were subjected to this unexpected tragedy when they were crossing a pedestrian crossing near a residence where they attended a funeral of a relative. The injured females have been admitted to the bilateral hospital and one of them is reported to have died there. Later on, the remaining 3 injured females were admitted to the Colombo hospital for the treatment and another female also has reportedly died. The daughters of one of the females who died in the accident, aged 11 and 17 respectively, are undergoing treatment at the Colombo hospital. The accident occurred when the driver of the vehicle was returning home with his 3-year-old daughter after purchasing foodstuffs. Later on, the driver has kept his daughter at a nearby residence and fled, and after being in hiding for some time has surrendered to the police. The suspected driver was later produced before the Horana Magistrates Court and it's been revealed that he was driving after consuming ice, narcotic, cannabis and liquor. The suspect has been ordered to be remanded until the 27th of this month.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that the government will be committed for a tourism development targeted at the attraction of rural tourism with enhancement of capacity building within the local tourism service providers. She made these remarks participating at the opening ceremony of the China, Sri Lanka and the Maldives Tourism Forum today. This forum aims to strengthen regional relations and developing economic cooperation based on tourism industry. This was held under the theme of Integrity of the Silk Road and Triumphant Cooperation. Tourism experts, business community and policymakers participated at this forum held in Colombo. This was jointly organized by the Chinese Embassy in Sri Lanka and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This forum focused attention to enhance the number of Chinese tourists in the said region and to promote the cultural and diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the Maldives.
We are deeply appreciative of China's long-standing support for Sri Lanka, not only in infrastructure development and trade, but also in people-to-people exchanges, education and cultural cooperation. Through initiatives such as the Belt and Road cultural programs and Chinese investment in South Asian tourism development, China has demonstrated its commitment to building meaningful and respectful partnerships with countries like ours. Looking ahead, I would like to propose that we reflect on the immense possibilities that lie before us if we choose to work together in a spirit of trust and innovation. Forums such as this are not just ceremonial gatherings, They are critical spaces where vision turns into dialogue and dialogue turns into action.
Our numbers are now close to pre-pandemic levels, showcasing the region's strong resilience despite various global challenges. To do this, we must leverage technology and innovation. The Maldives is actively investing in smart tourism tools, digital visitor experiences, and AI-powered destination management. By combining China's renowned technological expertise with Sri Lanka's burgeoning creative industries, we can collectively improve service delivery, accessibility, and overall guest satisfaction across our trilateral partnership.
A program to appreciate the students who excelled in district basis at the 2023-2024 GCE Advanced Level Examinations has been organized by the President's Fund. In the first stage of this program, which is being implemented at the provincial level, appreciation of students of the Northern Province is due to be conducted on the 22nd of this month at Kilinochchi. The President's Fund has planned to award financial scholarships and certificates to 60 students from each district who excelled at the 2023-2024 GCE Advanced Level Examinations. Those students will be selected considering the results issued in the year 2023-2024 by the Department of Examinations and the University Grants Commission. According to the Presidential Media Division, necessary steps are being taken to conduct this program at other provinces also in the future.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that steps will be taken to expand consultancy medical services via telemedicine technology. The minister made these remarks joining an observation tour of primary healthcare units and health centers in the southern province. The aim of this is to provide an optimum medical service to the people by strengthening the primary health service. Under this, rural, provincial and district hospitals will be renovated and diagnosis, laboratory and patient treatment services will be improved. Storing of data regarding the health condition of the people, targeting concerned health centers and updating them constantly along with a host of other facilities will also be implemented. The primary healthcare unit of Berali the Samarahama, the Matala Central Medical Center, Medical Health Office of Kataragama and other centers were inspected by the minister.
Now, Indian cinema superhero Mohan Lal Vishwanathan is in Sri Lanka these days for a movie shooting. Mohan Lal, who has acted in more than 400 films, has won the hearts of Sri Lanka cinema fans through his appearances in Tamil and Malayalam movies. Mohan Lal Vishwanathan arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday along with another Malayalam actor and director Kunchako Bobban for shootings in the movie titled Patriot. They will be shooting for 3 days in this country and the movie Patriot will be screened in India in 8 languages. They arrived in Sri Lanka in the UL-166 flight and were warmly welcomed at the airport by the officials of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau.
Very good friends in Sri Lanka. I think a lot of films are coming. Rajani Sir is coming. It's a beautiful country, a very shooting friendly place.
In your sports news, the first test match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will commence tomorrow at the Galle International Cricket Stadium.
And now this match will be the final appearance for Angelo Matthews, who represented Sri Lanka cricket team for 16 years. Sri Lankan players who are preparing for the first test match first seen engaged in practices at the Galle International Cricket Stadium in the morning today. So far, 26 test matches have been played between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, where Sri Lanka has won 20 out of them and Bangladesh was able to record only 1 win. The Galle International Cricket Stadium was gaily decorated for the farewell to be given to cricketing legend Angelo Matthews. He won his Test cap for Sri Lanka in 2009 and has represented Sri Lanka in 118 Test matches so far, scoring 8,167 international Test runs. Angelo Matthews has been the third highest scorer in Test cricket for Sri Lanka with 16 centuries and 45 half-centuries to his credit. During the period of 2013 to 2017, he led the Sri Lanka Test team in 34 Test matches and secured 13 victories for Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan cricketer Angelo Matthews said that he had a number of matches where he was able to make an important contribution. Elaborating his memories, Angelo pointed out the victory against Australia in 2010, winning a Test series against England for the first time in 2014, winning the home series against Australia in 2016 3 matches to nil, winning the 2014 T20 World Cup and the Asia Cup. He added that since only 6 months is left for the T20 World Cup, he would be ready to provide maximum since it is an opportunity to win a World Cup played with a white ball.
2020 World Cup එකට ඉතින් මම try එකක් දෙනවා මගේ performance මට කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් මම T20 World Cup එකෙන් retire වෙන්න පුළුවන් නම් white ball එකෙන් මොකද මේ ලංකාවේදී අපිට World Cup එකක් දිනා ගන්න අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒකට දායකත්වයක් දෙන්න මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Captain of the Sri Lanka Test cricket team Dhananjay De Silva said that he hopes to complete the home series on a winning note and give a farewell to Angelo Matthews. He added that he personally is hoping to give his maximum in order to win the Test and give a fitting farewell to Angelo Matthews. With that, we end today's national news telecast. We'll be meeting you again tomorrow, same time, but for now, signing off. I'm Vibhuda Vijay Bandar alongside Kensa Farooq. Goodbye and good night.